shackles worn, skin and bone, life sentence in this cage.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Life on Point. I'm Ellie. If you guys are new to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe, like this video, and leave me a comment where you're from, how you found me, all that fun stuff. Yeah, today is going to be a long one. I encourage you to grab a cup of tea or coffee or a beverage. Maybe you're watching this on your lunch break. Because this one's gonna be a long one. Today we are talking about something I have never talked about before, and that is my eating disorder journey, or my ED journey. Before you watch this, I want to just let you know, put out a disclaimer for you. Everything I talk about in this situation is from my perspective, and I want everyone to remember that there's two sides to a story. I truly believe that everybody, with the exception of one, had the best intentions for me, and everything came from the right place. I am absolutely in, I have a great relationship with all of my teachers, those that train me and those that no longer train me, but are now friends and colleagues of mine. That this may trigger you if you've dealt with this before, so just keep that in mind. So this is an intense topic, but it needs to be talked about, especially as ballet dancers, and especially as people that are looking to get into careers and things like that. So let's just get into this. So my eating disorder journey started late 2017. So it's been 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, almost 6 years. Whoa. That's crazy. So it was late 2017. I was training at Los Angeles Ballet Academy. I was at this summer intensive where I met Jose Carayol, who is now a ballet master with the Royal Ballet School. So congratulations, Jose. I love you. I'm so proud of you. He's just a legend. I was still training with Philip Pegler, Andrea Gutierrez, who is now, both of them are both retired now. And I was training with Jana, who is not retired yet. We kind of work together here and there. And Jose, who, like I said, is with the Royal Ballet School as of now. So at the time of 2017, I had a bit of a bigger build than I have currently. I was not as toned. It wasn't that I was big, it was just that I wasn't super toned, and I had a lot more fat mass on my body than I currently do. Right now I'm pretty much all muscle. I've got barely any fat on my body. So I am by no means calling myself fat from before. I'm just saying this is how my eating disorder journey started. But they knew that I wanted to become a professional ballet dancer. And so Andrea, Miss Andrea, Philip Pegler, and Jose, all of them have produced professional dancers, and multiples of them. And they've gone to the Royal Ballet, Joffrey, Sarasota Ballet, any ballet company that you could probably think of, they've probably sent somebody there. So they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. I didn't have the muscle tone in my legs, whereas now, if I do a grand plie in second, you can see my hamstrings just like at the bottom of my plie. I didn't have a whole lot of back muscle, whereas now you can really see the muscle happen. I had no core strength whatsoever, and my arms were a bit flabby because I didn't know how to tone my arms. This was the trajectory that I was on. I was serious about this, and I think part of the problem was that I felt like people didn't take me seriously at that point in time. So then by the time I did reach the age of 17, I didn't know what to do. I had nowhere to go, and then they realized, oh, she's serious. She's like, she's gonna audition for ballet companies. So it was a little bit hard to deal with that. But at the time of 2017, I was fluctuating between, 115, 120 as far as weight. And so at the time, I was training for my first YAGP competition. I was training for my second shot at Advanced 2 with the Royal Academy of Dance. And somewhere in 2017, I can't remember, but there was a guest teacher that had come in for a, ballet intensive thing. And basically told me, I always am a big believer of go up to your teachers after class, ask them, how can you improve, share with them, here's what I'm going for. And so for me, I told him, hi, I'd like to become a professional ballet dancer. Can you tell me what I need to do to get there, basically? Is there anything that I can work on? Obviously technique and what, I just wanted to know, right? And so he told me, oh, you're not skinny enough to be a professional ballet dancer. And I was like, what? And I was thrown off by it. And then the second statement that he said absolutely shocked me. And he said, you could try coffee and cigarettes. And I was like, what? And so I was appalled by that. I kind of kept it to myself because I just was like, well, that's weird. And I also know dance culture. Dance culture is just kind of crazy like that. Like, yeah, that's a whole other video. But professional dance culture, from what I had heard from my friends who danced in professional companies and had danced as like part of professional company, like they were part of the ballets that the professional companies were putting on, I had heard crazy things. So from that point on, I was mainly surviving off of coffee. I already had a coffee addiction. And so I literally was surviving off of coffee and the sugar. So fast forward to early 2018, I was in private lesson with Mr. Carayol, and with the best intentions, he told me that if I had waited any longer, I wouldn't have a shot at becoming a professional ballet dancer. He was like, you need to get into a school. Like, you should have gotten into a school a while ago. And he was new to the faculty, so I respected him for sharing with me his opinion. And sadly, we both knew at the time. It was just too late. So I was researching different ballet company auditions, and there was only one left. And I was like, okay, we should go. So I talked to my parents. My parents were like, okay, let's go. So we went to Houston, Texas for an audition for Kansas City Ballet. It flopped. I will link the story in a card for you guys to hear about my first ever company audition. It was absolutely terrible. Then I went to YAGP. The year progressed. I went to YAGP the first time. I did pretty well. I took my advanced 2. I passed with distinction, which is what I wanted. And I was exercising. I was doing strength training. I was, doing my best to tone up and do all the things. And I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot for companies next year. And so what I didn't realize that I was doing was that I had been skimping out on my portions and not eating as much. And it was a very subconscious thing. I don't ever remember thinking, I need to be skinnier, so I'm going to do this. I think it was a very, very, very subconscious level that it happened. I was forgetting to eat for long periods of time. I had just started my service business and was housekeeping for clients at the time in Bakersfield. And I was getting so busy with going between, Bakersfield and LA all the time with dance. So I just wasn't, food was not my main priority. And then on top of that with work, it was not easy. And then we went to Hawaii for vacation during that summer. And that's when I realized that every time I thought about food, or I would look at food, or I would smell food, I would get really, really nauseous. And at that time, I had just entered a very tumultuous relationship. So my emotional state during that time also did not help this, breeding, eating disorder. We get back from Hawaii, I start training for dance again, and we went to, I started training for my American Ballet Theater national exam. I believe it was level 6 that I took. I might be wrong, but it was level 6, I believe, that I was taking, and I was also fighting to get into a company. I was also still training with Philip Pegler, who had just left Los Angeles Ballet Academy. He was teaching at Santa Clarita Ballet Academy. So I was training with him there, and I was working on my English National Ballet School tape, which is all the way in England. So 2019 hits. I'm still in this horrible relationship. I'm fighting to get into a company. I'm training for exams. I'm training for auditions. And I'm also training for my second YAGP competition. So it is just madness. And I was so busy at this point that now I was living with my grandparents during the week, because going back and forth to LA and working and all this stuff was just not working. So I ended up auditioning for 4 ballet companies, and I got into Pacific Ballet Dance Theater, which was in LA, and I had a pretty okay time there. I passed my American Ballet Theater exam with high merits, and I went straight into the company 2 weeks later. During this process of getting into the company as an apprentice, I was not in the best space with my body, my mind, my spirit, soul, everything, emotions. It was just a mess. I was a hot mess. And so I lived with this wonderful lady who was so, so helpful. That's where I ended up renting a room from. And I wasn't paid as a pro dancer, so I had to get a second job on top of the clients I was already serving with my business. I just didn't have enough at the time to get me through. And I had just gotten scammed out of $10,000. I didn't know what to do. And my landlady always made me food during the week. I think she realized that she would see me come home, because she was always around. She was almost never gone, except maybe to church. But she, I think she started to notice, like, she's not eating. And, like, I would go grocery shopping here and there, but she rarely ever saw me go grocery shopping. And she was like, oh, like, aren't you going to go grocery shopping? And I was like, oh, no, I'm, like, super tired. I don't have time, yada, yada, yada. I have to work. And I made all these excuses. And so she started making me food and leaving Post-it notes on the refrigerator saying, hey, you know, there's food in the fridge. And so I would eat that food, and it was so helpful. She is, shout out to Kala. She really, really took care of me during that time. My ballet master at the company was very attentive to me as well. He was training me for the body that these other teachers had been trying to get me to have for all these years. And so he really helped me figure out how to train. And so I asked him, I was like, what do I need to do? And he told me what to do. And I was in class every day. I was training every day, before class, after class, rehearsals, before rehearsals, after rehearsals, everything. I was breaking outside of my norm. I was doing Pilates, I was doing yoga, I was doing silks at the time, which, wow, if you want to get your upper body strong, go take silks class. Shout out to Morgan, who really helped me with that. And so all of my previous teachers had told me, you need to get this kind of body. And so Grigori helped me get that kind of body. But the problem was I wasn't eating enough, so I had no energy. So finally I had left my ex and things were starting to turn over. I decided, you know what, I'm taking a break from ballet when this season is done. I wanted to take solo seal, but I really needed a break. I was like, this is just not working. I'm so unhappy in this company. For so many reasons. I had no friends. I had one friend, that's a lie. I had one friend who was really, really great during that time, just to have her around. And then, yeah, it just wasn't working anymore. And I was like, I just can't do this anymore. So when I left PBDT and joined Pasadena Dance Theater, I was in a new relationship with my current boyfriend. So he was super helpful. He had been friends with me. He kind of knew what was going on as far as like the trauma and things that I was going through before we even got into a relationship. So he kind of knew what he was getting into, but wasn't too sure at the same time. So when I left the company for Pasadena Dance Theater to do the Nutcracker season with them, I was not in a great spot, but I loved that company experience. That company experience was the most positive experience I've ever had in a studio or a company as far as like a professional level. It was very, very welcoming. Everyone was so kind and they were amazing. So Jessamine and Ashley, you guys are amazing. At the point that I went home on Christmas Eve 2019, and I had finished all my seasons of dance, I was 100 pounds and I was skin and bones. I was felt sick all the time, still living off coffee, by the way. So 2020 came and I was forced into a much longer break than I thought I was going to take. I was going to take it until like March off, and then in March the pandemic hit. So this is where my parents and my boyfriend, you know, could really help me see like, hey, you need help. Like, you need to get help. So I started meeting with a nutrition and life coach, and her name was Jessyca. She really helped me kind of get to the bottom of why I had the eating disorder, going back to when I think it started, and then helped me come up with a plan to get back on track with eating. So that was a long ride. That was a very long ride. I could barely eat anything because I was in this spot of like, I can barely eat anything. I was constantly getting full, but when I had started eating more, I was constantly eating because I would get full, then I'd get hungry like 30 minutes later. I get full, I get hungry 30 minutes later. So she helped me come up with this plan, and my friends, my parents, my boyfriend, they were amazing. They stayed with me through the mood swings of it all, because let me tell you, when you're recovering from an eating disorder, you go kind of cuckoo. The mood swings of it all, everything, just rebuilding a relationship with food is very, very hard. And so they were with me through everything. They helped remind me to stick to the plan, and, and it really helped me build a stronger relationship with food and exercise. and with my own body, and what it really helped me see, like, okay, like my body needs this. So 2021 came, and I really felt like I had a good relationship with food. I was eating, I wasn't nauseous. And let me tell you something, when I had anorexia, I did not ever, I think maybe in the entire time, so in the entire 5.5 years or so, whatever you want to call it, I didn't really throw up all that often if I did throw up food. And honestly, I thought it was food poisoning because, again, I had no idea that this was going on. If it was happening more often, I probably would have thought, okay, something's wrong, and I would have gone and seen a doctor. But maybe I threw up 5 or 6 times in that whole thing, which is still a bit of time, but looking at it and seeing the severity of other eating disorders, I'm so glad that it was only that long. So I was, in 2021, I was feeling good, and so I was like, okay, now I just need to work on getting healthier meals and working on healthier meals. So, at more towards the end of 2021, more in like October, September, I decided to try out HelloFresh, and HelloFresh was amazing. It still is amazing. I still use it. You can suspend your meals for as long as you need to, and I suspended my meals for January because I had so many of them and I needed to keep up with the cooking. I have leftovers. It's easy to bring with me to work, and they're just super, super easy meals. Now, as far as like, you know, my exercise regimen and those types of things, I just do what Grigori taught me to do. When Grigori taught me how to, and told me, here's what you need to do, here's a list of things that you need to work on, he was so intentional about actually helping me get better as a dancer, technically, helped me realize that I wasn't using certain muscles, and he was really good about explaining dance anatomy to me, so it was very helpful for me to visualize and see, oh, okay, I see these problems now. So I do about 30 minutes of cardio a week because I am not up to doing it every day. At the time I was doing it every day, but right now I'm not at that point. But still, I'm doing 30 minutes of cardio a week. I do Pilates, I do yoga, and if I want to do anything kind of extra, sometimes I'll go see my friend Morgan in Burbank and we'll do silks, which is really good for upper body and things like that. Yoga is great for upper body, and then I take class. And now when I go and take class, I've realized within the past couple of weeks that I've been taking class, it's been like almost, it's been 2 years since I've been in actual class. It's almost been 2.5 years since I've been in real class. I was feeling so good, and even on my off day, I could look at myself in the mirror and really just say, hey, it's okay. If it's a bad day, throw it away. I mean, that was Philip Pegler's motto to me for years because I was so hard on myself all the time. He was like, if it's a bad day, just throw it away. It's fine. Like, just move on to the next. And so, Catherine Morgan has also been a major help to me as far as this recovery process and getting back into dance after so long. I mean, for her, it was 7 years. For me, it's 2.5, but still, it was really helpful to have her. It was really helpful to have Philip. It's really helpful to be able to teach and really see from that perspective. Yeah, so at 2021, at the very end, you guys know, because this is very recent, I changed my diet. I developed a gluten allergy and I gave up coffee. And ever since I've done that, I feel so much better. I've only had one mood swing surrounding my period. And I think it's because my body is so heavily reliant on coffee that I just haven't been used to it yet. Now I take the right supplementation. I eat on a regular basis. I drink water. I eat and snack regularly throughout the day. I prioritize my food, even if it means I'm calling my boyfriend or a friend and being like, hey, can I Venmo you so that you can bring me some food? I mean, my friends and boyfriend are amazing. They actually do it for me. Yes, that concludes this video. Again, I told you it was going to be a long one. I'm so sorry for rambling on for so long, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And I just want to encourage you all that if you are fighting an eating disorder of any kind, of any level, whether it's severe or very mild, I want you to know that whether you're a dancer or you're not, an athlete or you're not, you are not alone. You are not alone. There are tons of other people that are dealing with this, that are battling with this. In fact, that there are so many people that have been dealing with this for so many years in hiding. And now it's a topic that's actually talked about within the dance industry, and it's very important. And so I want to thank Hyde, who is a dance therapist. for helping me give the language to actually share this story, and to share my journey and to encourage other people. I want you to know that it's okay to seek help. I didn't want to at first, but I figured, you know what, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. And I'm so glad I did, because I feel so good and I feel so empowered in my own body and in the way I dance now. Like, I just feel like a different person. And it feels like this whole thing, literally, even though I just came out of it within the last year, I feel like it's been eons ago. I feel like it's been a lifetime ago. And maybe that's because of COVID, but I don't know. You know, if you see a therapist or a nutritional coach or a doctor, they can help put you on a plan. And you can give up the sport that you're doing. You can give up dance. You can give up whatever it is so that you can focus on this. Because if I didn't give up dance and I was trying to dance and focus on this, it would have been absolute hell. And so I am so glad that I decided to take the break. I'm so glad, not that the pandemic happened, because so many people have died, but I'm glad that the pause happened and I was able to turn this very crappy part of life and make it into something really beneficial and healthy for me. So yeah, you can always reach out to me at Life on Point for advice, questions, anything like that. I am here for you all. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of your support. Mwah. I love you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.